A Giants podcast for Giants fans by Giants fans. From the offseason through the wins and the losses, it's time to take one Giant step.
Welcome on into One Giant Step. Week 2 of the preseason is in the books. I'm Shaun Morash. He's Bryce Gelman. Bryce, I'm going to once again say it. These summer weekends are ticking by. Only about 2 of them left. We are recording this on Sunday, the day after the Giants just mushed the Miami Dolphins face in the turf at Hard Rock Stadium. And we are 3 Sundays away from the Giants and Cowboys in week 1. And we're starting to get to the nitty-gritty of figuring out who the hell is going to be on this roster. And I'm starting to get a little excited about certain areas, albeit not a lot you can take out of playing a crap Miami Dolphin team. But, Bryce, let's just start here. I left you off in our preview edition on, do you want the starters to play? Do you want Jackson Dart to play? You were right away saying yes, yes, yes. I had a feeling, which is why I asked you that they wouldn't, based on the fact that they were having a joint practice together. But for the most part, sans a couple, including Arvell Reese and John Runyon and John Michael Schmitz, the starters were just simply not out there. So obviously there's going to be some things to take away, but nothing we could really break down in terms of what's juicy, and that's the Giants' first-team offense. Yeah,
they did what, looking back on it, they should have done. Like, I wish I had that take at the time. It is what it is. We're talking about preseason football. It's not like I'm not going to knock myself. Oh, damn, I didn't get that one right. No, I mean, listen, like they shouldn't have played them, especially coming right off the joint practice in hot-ass, muggy-ass Miami. Like, there's no reason for them to play. They didn't play. But we're going to get into some guys who did end up playing a lot of the game. But from what we saw, the guys that should have played didn't play. The guys that we needed to see more from did play. I mean, I don't like Arvell Reese. Like, I was surprised by that. I mean, I don't know what you thought about Arvell Reese playing, but he showed enough in that first preseason game to make me think, wait, he doesn't need to go back out there.
So I think this is actually where it's interesting who was deployed and who wasn't and the reasons why. And what's pretty cool about Bryce and I waiting till Sunday to do this is because on the other show I do, Talking Giants, we basically went within 15 minutes of the game, but we didn't have a lot of answers, which included a wasted 20 minutes, I would say, of me breaking down the wide receiver room as a result of what we saw with who played and who didn't play. So here's what I would say. The Arvell Reese question. I saw the clips, a little bit of what Harbaugh had to say. First of all, let me just bring this all back to this. For the majority of the beat reporters, they all seem to go fly down to Miami and cover the joint practice. And outside of Paul Schwartz, it appeared nobody actually was in Miami covering the game. Now, that's those employers' right to do that. And to be honest with you, Bryce, the way the NFL is trending, I don't know if you saw this. It involved 2 other teams. A reporter came up, might have even been the Bengals coach, that said something to the effect of the NFL owners, when talking about the joint practices, they basically said the 2 joint practices or whatever are the equivalent, or a joint, could be the equivalent of a game because you're just kind of going through everything. And I kind of feel like the league is trending this way, and it kind of feels like you're going to get charged as a season ticket holder to go to preseason games when the juice is happening in these joint practices, which are more and more common. So knowing that most of those guys played in the joint practice, the reason Arvell Reese played, at least the way I interpreted it, and again, I didn't see John Harbaugh answer this, is he's still a guy they're trying to learn every intricacy of the inside linebacker position in the NFL.
Yes.
And I think fair. I think it's that. It's not that he can't play in the NFL or hasn't proven enough that he can play in the NFL. I think it's just about fine-tuning the details. Like, go out there, command this. In terms of the other guys not playing, I think they also knew when going against the Dolphins starters alone that the team wasn't very good. What more were you going to gain out of it? But I don't mind Arvell Reese doing it. Malachi Fields played very sparingly. It was about 8 snaps or so, which I thought was pretty noteworthy considering how long a run they gave Darius Slayton in that game. Overall, I think Arvell Reese was like the big glaring starter. And we'll talk about the secondary in a sec, but I just want to get to the wide receiver room, Bryce, because I think that in the end, even with finding out what we found out, I think it was the most interesting part of the game because, just to summarize, when Braxton Berrios and Darnell Mooney did not play in that game, there was like wildfire being spread by reporters who were not at the game saying this must show that they're far safer on the roster than we were led on to believe. And as it turns out, each of those guys had a reason. Braxton Berrios has a soft tissue issue, which could end up costing him. Like, if he doesn't come back and play in his 3rd preseason game, maybe he's cut. Darnell Mooney, this is fascinating. His brother, might even be his twin brother, was getting married, and Darnell Mooney was the best man. I saw that. Yeah. I'm going to credit Bobby Skinner because he was the first person that I saw tweet this, and it's so true. If you're Darnell Mooney and your twin brother is getting married,
it's a preseason game. It's a preseason game.
Bryce, hear me out though. Darnell Mooney is not A.J. Brown. Like, Darnell Mooney is as much as he's safe, you know what I mean? Like, he's still the kind of player that you never know anything could happen. Your twin brother cannot be getting married 3 weeks before an NFL season. That's got to be done in July. That's got to be done in June. And I'm just going to say this. I know nothing about the brother. I know nothing about the person he married. I'm going to guarantee that this is the person he married, wanted an August wedding, something like that.
Yeah,
You got some nerve doing that to Darnell Mooney. Nerve.
Maybe they couldn't book a venue any other time of the year. Maybe like they wanted the perfect weather and all.
Bryce, it's not a surprise that the brother plays in the NFL.
We need to find this out. This is very important. Very important.
But anyway, for Darnell Mooney to go, and John Harbaugh basically say absolutely go. I think first of all, it just shows the kind of family guy Harbaugh is, number one. Number two, I'm also assuming that Mooney is safe. Not that we thought he was getting cut, but there is just this numbers game, right, Bryce? Let's just talk about it freely here. Malik Neighbors, and that was the other news that came out of Sunday's press conference, is that he may be shedding the red non-contact jersey this week, but also Harbaugh said there's also no rush with 3 weeks to go. So it kind of feels like if he doesn't do it this week, it may be the moment that third preseason game ends. We're off and running with 2 weeks of Neighbors practicing with contact, which I think is encouraging. Look, let's be real. Neighbors is playing week one. I think that without a setback, he's playing week one. Malachi Fields, by playing way less than Orville Reese did in that situation, showed you. I think Malachi Fields is basically all but locked up wide receiver 2, which is just
unbelievable.
It's also highly encouraging because, he still had to beat out Mooney, Slayton, all these guys. Like, that's refreshing for the Giants room for him to have done that. And then you think about Mooney, going to the wedding, it tells you he's probably on the team. It's going to come down to Berrios versus Beckham if they're only keeping 6 receivers. And if Berrios' injury is going to, sideline him here, are they more comfortable with Calvin Austin, who had that great kind of, edge rush, the end around kind of play?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I thought it was interesting. And I don't know. How did you feel basically about how the whole wide receiver room panned out? And also the idea that Slayton played basically that whole first half. I know it's a numbers game, but if you felt that safe about Darius Slayton, and I know that he's getting reps because he had the core injury, but man, if you felt that safe about Darius Slayton being one of your 6 wide receivers on the team, does he need to play that much? Can't Dalen Cambry play a little more? I mean, what is he proving there? So where did you stand with all this?
Well, I think with the preseason, everyone wants to look at the gameplay and they want to break down the film and be like, oh, that happened. The real takeaway, Shaun, from the preseason is who played, how long they played for, why they played, if they didn't play, why they didn't play. And looking at Malachi Fields, put 2 and 2 together, call a spade a spade. It looks like he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver. And this is something that we talked about a couple of months ago. Like, this needs to happen. Malachi Fields needs to outright win the wide receiver 2 room because that says a lot about him. And it also will say something about the rest of the receiver room. Malachi Fields being the number 2 wide receiver, especially with the guys behind him, you feel a lot more comfortable, right? With the guys that Jackson Dart is throwing to, because not only does he have Neighbors, not only does he have Likely, who by everything we've seen, by all means, like, he's going to be one of his top targets, but he's got Fields too. And if Slayton is he's the 3rd wide receiver, like, he's definitely paid to be one. You know what I mean? Like that's like congratulations, Joe Shane, the guy that you're paying $9 million a year is going to be playing a position where people get paid that much. I just never thought we'd go into this season with this little of like worry when it comes to the wide receiver room. I'm not panicked about it at all. Not to say that I get panicked about anything prior to the season, but it's like, all right, well, I feel comfortable with this. Like, don't you like feel pretty good about this right now? As I think we lost Shaun. This is terrific. This is why Shaun, he can't hear me. There he is. There's
I'm
Shaun.
back. I don't know what just happened, but I'm good.
Right. Well,
I heard you with the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
This little worry.
No, I said, isn't it a great thing? Like, how do you feel right now about the wide receiver room going into the season?
I mean, I definitely feel better than I did. The Malachi Fields thing I think is important because that you invested in somebody in the 3rd round and you want to develop them. But if they're beating out the likes of Mooney and Slayton, I trust Mooney. Like, you feel way better about the wide receiver room if Darnell Mooney and Darius Slayton are your wide receivers 4 and 5 with Calvin Austin in the slot. Like, to me, I think anybody would look at that wide receiver room and be like, oh, who are their 4th and 5th receivers? Like, oh, it's Darnell Mooney and Slayton. Wouldn't you look at that as a pretty like standardly deep wide receiver room? I certainly would. And that's all predicated obviously on the step that Fields took. But as far as Slayton goes, though, I think the other step with this, Bryce, would be I mean, maybe there was an audition for a trade here. Maybe this is a way to get Beckham on wide receiver 6. I mean, when he's playing that much, just, we know the Houston Texans who just signed Sterling Shepard are hunting for a wide receiver. I kind of think where we spent a lot of the pre-training camp episodes talking about like, oh, is there a surprise cut out there? Maybe it's just more surprise trade. And maybe the Daniel Falele, the idea that they got a pick for him, it just kind of shows the Giants maybe have more assets that teams would be looking for. And look, on the flip side, the Giants could be looking to harbor, D-tackle depth and all that other stuff.
But if they could shed that contract,
yeah, I mean, they'd probably have to eat some of it, but cap ramifications, whatever. Either way, I don't know. It's just something to keep in mind. I'm not 100% convinced that Darius Slayton is on this football team if they could find a trade partner based on what I saw. Now, real quickly, a couple other offensive accolades. It came out, the reason John Runyon played in that game is because John Michael Schmitz missed that time with concussion and the first preseason game, and with Moe Noah out with the stinger, he probably would have played had he not gotten hurt as the rookie. They wanted to give John Michael Schmitz, for communication purposes, a starting guard next to him, so that's why John Runyon played in that game. J.C. Davis played every snap at left tackle, and I tell you, Bryce, for the second straight year, I mean, last year was Marcus Bowe on day 3. I mean, this is exactly what good teams do, right? They develop offensive linemen on day 3 of the draft, and keep throwing those darts on day 3, man. Like every once in a while you're going to get your Marcus McKeithans that don't work out, but if you really start to develop J.C. Davis and Marcus Bowe, I mean that's how you build depth on the offensive line, and it's been a long, long time now. Is it crazy, right? When we're talking about all these Giant problems, offensive line doesn't even come up.
Well, we've had this conversation a few times. It's just, you got to pinch yourself.
You can do, really but you have to continue the conversation when J.C. Davis is playing like that. And again,
2 swing tackles now.
Yep, no doubt. And look, I'd like to see J.C. Davis play some on the interior. Maybe it's Marcus Bowe that flips the interior eventually. I do think, though, Bryce, there will be people that are viewing this and listening to this that are going to throw cold water and go, look at these 2 Giant homers. You realize how bad the Dolphins are.
We're not Giants homers.
No.
But I'm just saying.
Let me set up the immediate retort, because I already see you guys coming out of the comments. You're right, but guess what? What the Miami Dolphins are is what the Giants were, and I think that what you walk away from this week going is, remember how the last 10 years, sans 2022, the Giants have been one of the laughing stocks in football. I don't know how you watch what unfolded in that joint practice and what unfolded with depth versus depth in this game and think that the Giants are one of the bottom of the barrel teams in the NFL anymore. You're seeing what bottom of the barrel looks like. It's what's happened to the Miami Dolphins. Exactly. And look, what does that mean for the Giants? It doesn't mean they're winning 11 games, but it means that you can actually use the week with the Dolphins as that kind of measuring stick, which is you wanted to see them kick their ass. And they dominated a joint practice and then went out there without any of their starters and none of Miami starters and dominated.
They did their job. They did their job.
But more than that,
they annihilated. This is what a serious football team does, and they did it.
Now, I do want to flip around to the defensive side of the ball, because John Harbaugh said something on Sunday that I said to myself on Saturday, which is very funny to me. Did you see any of Harbaugh's quotes on Sunday yet, Bryce?
Today? You keep saying this is going out Sunday night. No, I have not.
I know. Well, you know what? People listening on a Monday or whatever. Okay.
I have not.
There was one quote where he said, and just blatantly, quote, "We're deep at cornerback," which...
Oh, I lied. I saw that.
Okay.
I lied.
Now, a lot of people are going to read that quote and hear that quote and start flipping out, losing their mind. And I understand why. But I also said the same thing to myself on Saturday night. And it doesn't mean that the Giants have Darrelle Revis. It doesn't mean they have Deion Sanders. But I don't know, Bryce. As bad as Miami is, I take with what happened with Minnesota in the first week too. I'm starting to say the same thing, which is, and I haven't talked about this, I feel better about the corner room in general. I just do. Where are you at with the cornerback room?
I'm like, it's bittersweet for me. There's a lot of push and pull because on one side, the guy you paid to be your number one cornerback is not playing like that. So that's
but now he is. But now he is. He had his best week of practice. He apparently dominated the joint practice.
Right,
was all over the field.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right. I'm not getting ahead of ourselves because everything we've seen up until that point, he's not been great.
Oh, hold on. No. We are going to get into this because Paulson and Debo, you're just going to write him off for the first 2 weeks. You want him to wake up. The guy wakes up.
2.5 weeks left. 2.5 weeks left of the season. We could judge him by the next week of practice.
Sure.
And then
you also drafted Deontay Banks in the first round, and it seems like Denard Wilson is saving the guy's freaking career.
That's what I was getting. I was so down on the Greg Newsome signing. Guy was all over the field. That's what I was getting back to.
All right,
idea that both those guys are going to be starting cornerbacks, 1 and 2. Debo now, according to Shaun, Debo is a god again.
He's not a god. He's not a god, but now you know. Hold on, stop arguing because you put words in my mouth. Paulson Adebo is not a god. You're making me slap.
He played better.
What Paulson Adebo is doing is the same thing that seemed like Deonte Banks was doing from day one of camp, which is he's getting the message. You're not safe here. Harbaugh has made that, even Newbin at safety, like abundantly clear. I mean, you guys it doesn't matter where you were drafted or what you're making. You got to fight for your freaking job. And Paulson Adebo's woken up a little bit. He could still be a disaster, but I feel way better about Paulson Adebo being involved in a game with the Cowboys and Rams than I did, having to throw Colton Hood out there who was banged up. And I just think that him, Roz, indication, and Deonte Banks not backing down a lot. I mean, Deonte Banks is still playing aggressive. I mean, he was flying all over the field. He's making plays on the ball.
He's looking back at the ball.
Yeah,
looking back at the quarterback. Yeah,
dude. I don't know, man. Like, he doesn't look like Jalen Hyde. He doesn't look like Evan Neal. You cannot put Deonte Banks in the same bus category as those guys right now. And I
don't mean to cut you off, but I want to say this because I've said it before, and I want to reiterate it right now. If Deonte Banks emerges into a serviceable starting, what the hell is going on there? What is that?
Do you have in New Jersey when like the fire?
Oh no. What do you mean?
Like the fire stations, like horns go. Usually it's like every day at noon, and then when there's like a big call, it's like the horn blares throughout town. I'm getting one of those right now.
I get 6 o'clock in Livingston. They always.
This is 7:07 p.m. So something's going down.
Something's going on. All right. So back to what I was saying. Now if Deonte Banks emerges into a good starting quarterback, I don't think people realize how much this is going to change the outlook of this team. People just look at the depth chart. They see Deonte Banks. He sucked. He's good now. Adebo, fine. Look at everything else. Look at where the Giants excel and add that. Pencil that right in. The defense is, can we say it, a top 10 defense in the NFL on paper? Maybe even better. But that's contingent on Deonte Banks emerging, on Greg Newsome being someone that the Giants didn't expect him to be on the 1-year prove-it deal, and then the Paulson Adebo aspect of all this. If he's good, he's good. If he's bad, the fact that if he's bad, you're not that worried because you got these other two guys, it's a good situation to be in. I never thought I'd say that. That's always been my biggest concern.
And I think what's happening here and the reason I'm saying I agree with John Harbaugh that they're deep at corner is if you actually think about it and take everything in a vacuum. Greg Newsome, former first-round pick, got traded to Jacksonville. It just wasn't a fit. He's fighting for – I think he's proven enough that his NFL career is fine, but like – money, right? He wants to play well and show that he belonged as a first-round pick. Deonte Banks, same kind of deal. He's on a contract year now. He's trying to prove – he's really fighting for his NFL career to prove that it's different. And then Paulson Adebo, he's collected his payday. His contract's cuttable after this year. He now also needs to wake up. And what I don't understand is anybody who's looking at this going, well, like, I mean, still Deonte Banks. Paulson Adebo. Guys, when we hire John Harbaugh to be a coach and he goes and he picks his defensive coordinator in Denard Wilson and we talk about what it's like hiring a real NFL coach, this is the stuff that we're talking about. These guys needed coaching. As basic a premise as that is. And I think a funny thing has now happened, which is you were hoping that just somebody emerged from this pod of guys basically playing on 1-year deals. And I think the funny thing is this is now becoming the most classic example of like Pee-wee sports when you go like competition breeds, character, like good players. Like this competition and what's happened. Again, I am not staking the claim that they have a lockdown corner. What I am staking the claim is I'm kind of at the point with 3 weeks left till opening day that, first of all, I'm comforted in the fact that they don't have to rush Colton Hood out there when he's not ready. Cause I think that like you almost want to like nurture him almost like a child, like, let him grow. Especially since he hasn't dominated the camp the way Malachi Fields and Arvell Reese have had. That's fine. Like, he hasn't been bad either. Just let him grow. But I kind of don't care what 2 of the 3 are out there on the outsides on opening night versus the Dallas Cowboys because I trust that this coaching staff has read this competition the right way. And I don't know, man. Like, I still look at D tackle now as a far bigger issue where I kind of had them both 2 weeks ago as neck and neck, what scared the hell out of me. I'm less scared about the cornerback room.
Shaun,
that's my biggest take after 2 weeks in the preseason.
All right. Well, I mean, listen, I've always had the cornerback room at number 1. It's never been close. It's not at number 1 anymore.
It's D tackle.
And that says a lot because it was up there. Defensive tackle was number 2, but it wasn't close. now defensive tackle has overtaken that ranking. Because again, like, and here's the other thing with defensive tackle. You look at, Shelby Harris and DJ Reader. They bring in these two old guys, old heads. They're 1 year, like, there's nothing, there's like, you cut them after they're gone.
Yeah, it's a heavy investment for the Giants this next offseason.
They have the opportunity with the defensive tackle room to add and sign a huge guy next year. That's the thing.
Yep.
So you're like, okay, well, defensive tackle, it's going to suck for this year. Cornerback, that's a different story. You've got these younger guys. You want them to prove themselves because you want to give them money long term. So they've got the guys. Let's see if it translates to the regular season. I mean, like, we could sit here and talk about it all we want till we're blue in the face, but the reality is it's now, I think, is it not 2 weeks to the season, or is it 3 Sundays?
3 Sundays, because next Sunday is last week of the preseason.
Yeah,
2 weeks from now is Labor Day weekend. 3 weeks from now is week 1.
Damn, Rosh Hashanah. Shit.
That's week 1, Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, Sunday night. Whatever. We're gonna make do. I don't care. It's not, football is more important than religion.
Is that a sin spot? Is that a sin spot? Week 1 Sunday night?
Absolutely not. No. I'm gonna be sitting there watching the game, eating whatever. I'm excited. Jewish holidays, like.
Can I ask you, what is eating whatever? I'm unfamiliar. This is obviously culturally different.
So Rosh Hashanah, it's just like, it's like a normal, like it's hard to explain. It's just a very normal, like, Jewish holiday. Like, you get together with your family, you've got dinner, do the prayer. We don't do the prayers. We go, like, open the book, read quickly. Who cares? And then you eat, normal Jewish foods. You got the latkes, you got everything. It's terrific. Actually, I think it's my favorite Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is when you fast all day. And
we might have to do a Cinco de Five-O, bring you in, or Cinco de Luncho on your favorite Jewish holidays. I love that.
Cinco de Juo.
Cinco, I don't know if we could say that. Can we say, well, you could say that. I can't say that.
You can. Yeah.
Bryce, I got to be honest
off the rails here.
The last 3 minutes is the most personality that I've seen non-sports related from it. You should be doing more of this on House of Highlights.
What are you talking about?
You getting a little something.
We should, dude. Well, once you made, right when we started the podcast, you made like a church reference to me, and I obviously didn't get it. And you was like, Bryce, and I'm like, dude, I'm Jewish. You go, really? I'm like, is it not obvious?
No, it's not.
It's crazy.
I don't know what that means.
I took that as a compliment. I did. I was like, thank you. I don't want to come across like that. Jesus Christ. All right. Well,
and then you go Jesus Christ there? You drop a Jesus Christ after all that?
Is that, am I not able to say that? Is that frowned upon in your
Bryce, I don't feel comfortable with it. I don't know enough about religion any which way. I know what I know. And what I know is the Yankee bullpen and the Giants D tackle room. That's what I know. And a couple of farts and food takes.
You're equating the Yankee bullpen with the Giants, the worst part of the Giants?
No, I'm just giving you I'm into these kind of things.
I just want to make sure.
Just to get this back on track so we don't end on Jewish culture and Yom Kippur on Sunday Night Football. Just the D tackle room.
Yes.
I'm sorry. The defensive tackle room. Darius Alexander playing into the third quarter, man. What a weird camp for him, because he went from kind of like the first 2 weeks being the star of camp to, like, he can't stop the run. That's a major issue. Chauncey Golston seemingly is just catapulted past him as a starter, which I love what they're doing with Chauncey Golston too. Instead of making him edge 4, get the most use out of him on the interior. He is a run stopper as well, which is pretty good. It gives you some pass rush ability. And he looked pretty good in this game as well. And if you get him with Reader and Harris, and then here's the thing, man. Like, Zach Pickens has a sack in this game, okay? He's a former third-round pick of the Bears that was then on the Chiefs practice squad. That reminds me a lot of what Darius Alexander's future can be if he doesn't get it in, right? He's Zach Pickens floating around on teams as a failed third-round pick. My take, besides I feel better about the cornerback room than I did 2 weeks ago, here's my other take. I think the Giants are adding 2 defensive tackles, either waivers or by the end of week 1 when they sign like another veteran. And
I'd say 1. I think 1. 2 is a lot. I mean,
or they swing a trade with like a 6th-round pick, 7th-round pick, similar to what they did with Falele. I don't know, man. I think they feel comfortable at all. Like, Josh Tutupo was hurt. They're Pickens out there. Bobby Jamison Travis is fine, but could he get slid to the practice squad? I don't know, man. The room scares the hell out of me. And I think that's going to be the Giants' bugaboo, as we kind of knew it was. And, oh, by the way, don't give me, well, they shouldn't have traded Dexter Lawrence. Then they don't sign Reader and Harris likely. So it's still the same problem. They still had a D-tackle problem with Dexter Lawrence. I just want everybody to be reminded of that.
100%. There's no depth. Everyone wants to point to the Lions play when Gibbs ran for the 70-yard touchdown because Dexter Lawrence is off the field. oh, well, he shouldn't have been off the field. No, him off the field shouldn't have been enough for them to score 70-yard touchdown. So it has nothing to do with him. There's no depth.
No doubt. All right, so this is where we're at. Friday night, Giants-Jets, third preseason game. I'm going to assume, based on the fact that those guys didn't go out there and play week 2, that we're going to get some of the starters. Truth be told, Friday, nutso day in the tri-state area. First of all, if you're out on the Long Island area, you listen to One Giant Step, come watch me and Evan Roberts do our show live from the Salt Shack, WFAN
really?
live from the Salt Shack.
Really?
South
Wow.
Shore of Long Island, going to be a good time, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So that Friday night, or what's going to come up on Friday night, you have Giants-Jets at MetLife Stadium, Yankees-Red Sox at Yankee Stadium. I am actually not going to be watching the Giant game live. I had tickets 7 months ago in advance. I'm seeing Zach Brown Band that night. And then, of course, there's like another crazy concert, just like a crazy night of events. I'm going to wake up on Saturday morning and I'm going to watch Giants football. So I'm not going to, I'm assuming if something bad happens, knock on wood and injure, my phone is going to blow up. It's going to aggravate me at the concert, whatever. I'm contemplating going airplane mode. But I'm going to watch that game Saturday morning.
Because
at some point,
Giants preseason game, you think your night's going to be ruined because people are texting you at the preseason?
What if there's an injury or something? Yeah, hell yeah. Or Dark throws
Wait, is this a movie? You don't want spoilers?
No, it's just if something bad. I just don't want my night being dampened, man. It's a good summer night. So Bryce and I, do I know if we're doing a preview episode? I guess I'm just going to kind of monitor practice. Like if Neighbors takes the pads off, if something kind of pops up. This is why you download, subscribe to One Giant Step.
If you need to hear from us, you'll hear from us.
Exactly. If not, then we'll catch you after the game. But just don't be on the lookout late Friday night for a One Giant Step. I'm not going to be seeing the game live. So this is my precursor to you. It'll be a Saturday morning watch for me as kind of the summer ticks away. But Bryce, there you have it, man. Obviously a very uneventful in many ways game because of the lack of starters. But in the end, the other thing I want to get to real quickly, your thoughts on Tyrone Tracy fumbling.
Oh, my God. We didn't.
Thank goodness. That's why I'm a quarterback here.
Bad 20. Yeah. Because I went into this podcast. I'm like, how long are we going to talk about Tyrone Tracy for?
Go ahead. Give me your take on
that game, early on in the drive, the 2 chunk runs. And I'm like, oh, this is great for him. This is really good. And then he fumbles. And it's almost like, like we texted about this. Like there's a human aspect of it because we know that he's busting his ass to try to work up the depth chart. He's going to make the roster. All right. He had 2 straight years of 1,000 all-purpose yards. All right. Like that doesn't happen too often. That doesn't I get it. Like starting running back, circumstances arise. He wasn't supposed to be the starter 2 years ago. They brought in Singletary, Scatterboo injury. It doesn't matter. He still did it 2 years in a row. And then of course, all the stuff lately, of course, him missing the block and, he needed a PR bounce back, and he got the exact opposite. So you got to feel bad for the guy. I don't think that he's not going to get cut. I'm not.
No. It would be stupid.
People want him cut. I've seen people on the internet saying he needs to be cut. Relax.
There's the only thing that would say is there a team that would trade for a Tyrone Tracy if you find another running back? Like if the Cardinals want to dump James Conner and you want to go that route? Like, I don't know. I mean, I doubt it.
How about the Raiders now?
Yeah, that's a great point with Ashton Genty. That's a great point, Bryce. I'm glad you brought that up. Genty looks, we'll see what the severity is there. Yeah. But I would say with Tyrone Tracy, we know how good Tyrone Tracy is to an extent, right? John Harbaugh watched enough tape, but John Harbaugh still wanted to invest in the running back room in the offseason. He did add Najee Harris. Your first 2 lights are on auditions with John Harbaugh in a game scenario, you have the biggest you can't blow it block, and then you have a fumble that can't happen in wet weather. Like, it's tough for me to defend Tyrone Tracy with this coaching staff when that's what they're seeing under their tutelage, when everything we've seen positive with him, and he did have fumbling issues in the rookie year, let's not forget that, but the positives, the 1,000 all scrimmage yards, all that stuff has not happened under their watch. Now, I was relieved on Sunday as part of that press conference in John Harbaugh when he said, we're weighing those 2 bad moments versus the body of work in his career. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. It was kind of a relieving comment to me that Harbaugh should have common sense with this, which is we know the guy's a productive NFL back. Now, a committee back for sure. I don't think he's, a bell cow Saquon, but nobody's asking him to be. The Giants are going with a committee, and I think that's totally healthy for a franchise that's like the New York Giants.
Also, a guy that's just coming off a nearly catastrophic ankle injury. Like, Cam Scott is not going to be the workhorse.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope this doesn't do him in, but it just sucked. I felt for Tyrone Tracy because when other guys mess up, man, isn't it something like if Deontay Banks blew a coverage and got beat, I just be cursing my ego. Here's Deontay Banks again. I don't know. I find myself watching when Tyrone Tracy makes a mistake. I'm not angry. I'm more like upset because it's like, I know you're not this bad, dude. Like, you know what I mean? I don't the worst from Tyrone Tracy. To see him have back-to-back bad moments in these games, it just kind of like guts me a little bit.
Because I don't think anyone expected this to even be a conversation where people could even say that they should cut him. There was never even up for the question.
You know what it is, Bryce? I know that Tyrone Tracy is going to be a productive player this year if he gets the opportunity. And if he got the opportunity with another team via trade, it would just bother me because it'd be like, really? We gave up the guy for that? Or if he gets buried for Najee Harris and Devin Singletary, it's also going to gut me a little bit. So it's going to be like, I know we're more explosive when Tyrone Tracy's in the games. So
as a passing down back, you're just gonna, because he missed the block and he fumbled in a preseason game, deservedly so. You know what I mean? Like maybe he could work his way back into John Harbaugh's like good graces by the middle of the year, but like to start the year, whatever, man.
Can't have it. All right, download, subscribe, One Giant Step everywhere podcasts are available. At Bryce Gelman, Twitter, X, at Shaun Morash, Twitter, X, at Morash Radio, Instagram as well. What's your TikTok over there, Bryce, for all the youngins to follow?
Bryce Gelman, but my Instagram is at Bryce Gelman Sports. Don't follow my personal. I'm not going to accept you.
Well, what a welcoming man. What a welcoming man.
By the way, some people have tried to follow me there, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
you have two Instagrams. Interesting. I do the personal stuff for Facebook, I guess. But
I just didn't want it. I didn't want to like integrate both. Like I've got.
You're probably right, dude. Like, to be honest, because like it's too far gone for me to have done both. Because I had Instagram before it like blew up like this, where it's career needed. And
my Facebook, I decided that with my Facebook because I was accidentally posting them because they dual post them on the Meta Business Suite or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, my shit is blowing up. I'm like, holy, like I just got 100,000 views. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to delete them, and I built on it. And listen, I got to tell you, the boomers love me. Send your dad my content. He's gonna love it. I do very well with the. I do very well with the 54 to 60, whatever the age.
Well, that's always a great demo.
55, 64. Yes.
That's the we're winning 11 games demo. All right, at Bryce Gelman, at Shaun Forrest. Take care, everyone. Thanks for taking One Giant Step with us.